Alright, what's going on everybody? Anime Rainbow back with another episode. Today we'll be discussing Kaiju number 8 chapter 57, and I'm just gonna jump straight to the end and discuss it off rip. If these four divisions of the Defense Force cannot seem to get it together, then the nation and probably the world is doomed. But let's get right into it. What is going on? Well, this chapter has me split. On one end, I feel like the first 17 pages of this chapter were almost unnecessary. Don't get me wrong, there is good information scattered throughout it, but in large part the first 17 pages were really just bickering going back and forth between the first and the third divisions. The reasons that the first and third divisions go back and forth is because apparently they have divisional turf boundaries, and both divisions claim Tokyo as their turf, which means they're constantly being compared between the two divisions, and it's really all just childish if you think about it. But we all know that Captain Arumi is just one big kid at heart. I mean, clearly this is stressing him out because you got him smoking a blunt while confronting the third division, trying to get them to leave the meeting that they were called by the higher ups. So the only real info that I pulled from their back and forth is that Captain Arumi is either number one or holds the record at the Defense Force for multiple categories outside of just, mini kaiju slaying category. That record is held by the Vice Captain Hoshina, and the long distance record is held by Captain Mina herself. So though we hold Captain Arumi in a very high regard, he is not this all-powerful entity that is just out there just slaying numerous kaijus in every single category back and forth. He does have some faults, and he isn't number one in every single category. But things at this point have already gone way beyond the boundaries of the Pride Land. You gotta think that all the division captains have been called to this meeting, dubbed the Anti-Number 9 Eastern Division Conference. This also got me thinking that, okay, well, if this is just the Eastern Division Conference, that means there's probably a Western Division Conference, maybe across the seas in the United States. There's probably a Southern and Northern Division Conference as well. But at this Eastern Division Conference, you got the First Division Captain Narumi, you got First Division Vice Captain Hasegawa, you got Second Division Captain Igarashi, you got Third Division Captain Ashiro, you got Third Division Vice Captain Soshiro, and you got the Fourth Division Captain Ogata. No vice captain for the second or fourth division, which leads me to believe that they may be the weakest out of the four divisions. If you remember, during the funeral for the Director General, they announced the first and third divisions before announcing the second and fourth divisions, and it seemed a little weird to me at the time, but it is possible. Also, they are the only two divisions that don't seem to have a vice captain inside of the meeting as well, which brings more credence to the fact that they might be the weaker of the four divisions. More information that we find out is that the newly appointed Director General is none other than Keiji Itami, which makes sense, right? He was the right hand of Isao while he was the Director General, and he knows all the ins and outs that come with being in charge and making critical decisions, as well as being privy to all the sensitive information that the higher ups give out. I don't know why he couldn't have taken this position immediately after the whole incident. I don't seem to understand why they needed Narumi to step in for that one decision that needed to be made. It could have just been Itami delegating that role to Narumi to see what he was gonna do. And if he had chose to kill Kafka, Itami might have stepped in at that moment and were like, I really just wanted to see how you were gonna handle this situation, but yeah, you're not the Director General, even though you are the strongest. This is not a role that is specifically dedicated to the strongest of the Defense Force, but for the time being you were good enough, but now I'm here to step in, and it might be for the better, right? I mean, could you imagine what Narumi's decision making would have been the minute he found out that the third division had to come to their turf, and you had this whole situation of Hoshina breaking down what needed to be done in order to stop Kaiju number 9 in this entire threat. But we're going to get into that later on. Let's continue with this chapter discussion. So after all of this bickering and back and forth, Hoshina finally able to get the meeting started because he's leading this entire thing. The bombshell of a revelation that he drops this chapter regarding Kaiju number 10 and Kaiju number 9 and just humanoid Daikaijus altogether is massive, okay? Kaiju number 9 threat is far too big of a threat for the first division to handle on its own, alright? He flat out says that the first division can't handle this threat by itself. The threat that we thought number 9 posed was not to the scale that he actually is, and what 10 tells the vice captain is that he was created by number 9, but he's still just the prototype, right? Meaning that, yeah, we're going to start to see a lot more humanoid Daikaijus that pop up, possibly a Kaiju number 11, but when you really sit and think about it, Kaiju number 10 was a prototype, but he maxed out at 9.0 on the fortitude scale. If he's the first of Kaiju number 9's creations, it's only going to get higher from there. 9.8 is not that far out of reach, And then you have to think about, well, what does he match up on the fortitude scale? Because if 10 was a 9, he has to supersede that in droves, especially now that he's gotten a new host body. So if you jump forward on the last pages, you see these pods hanging down from the ceiling inside of a cave where Kaiju number 9 is just chilling. And so when you add all this information together and you really look at it as a whole, this is a very scary situation for any of them to be in, because he has the ability to create an army of humanoid Daikaijus himself that follow whatever instructions that he give out. But then he also has the ability to create Kaiju that have the ability to control other Kaiju that he did not create himself, which was number 10's whole entire shtick. Okay, if number 9 has sent 10 in if number 9 and number 10 just had attacked together, they would have been able to take down probably anybody. Let's just be honest. Alright, 9 that we see now and 10 that we saw back then together could run a train on any defense force with a wavering army. Alright, let's be honest. So with Hoshina giving out all of this information, he is really asking all the divisions to work together across their boundaries in order to neutralize his Kaiju number 9 threat. And his logic is that if number 9 is able to create a big enough army, he could take all 4 divisions individually in their own section of Japan. So they need to be able to work together and call upon one another in times of crises, right? And it makes sense. I know personally I asked where the other divisions were during the raid on Tachikawa base. And had there been at least one other division with the first division during this most recent incident with the Ant Kaiju, I don't see the Director General dying. I don't see the Defense Force winning, but I don't see Isayo losing his life if, say, the second division was there backing him up, protecting the rear, right? Number 9 wouldn't have been able to sneak up on him. And if he had been able to sneak up on him, the Director General and one other division captain, let's say Igarashi, right? The Director General and Igarashi, I believe, could hold off number 9 long enough for Kafka and Narumi and Kikoru to get there in order to drive away number 9. Number 9 wouldn't have been able to get his hands on the weapon. Number 9 damn sure wouldn't have been able to get a new host body, especially Isayo's, right? The worst case scenario for the Defense Force. They gave up the strongest there had ever been in the entire organization. But I think I've rambled on long enough. If you made it to the end, thank you. If you're new, go plus ultra and smash that subscribe button. Lets me know you rock with the content that I put out on the channel. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment on the video your thoughts about what you think is going on, how you think this is going to happen, what weapons do you think Kaiju number 10 is going to be made into? Are they going to be able to work across divisional boundaries? I don't think so. I mean, the first and third division are already going back and forth, and this seems to be like a running gag that Matsumoto is going to continue throughout the series. Which I don't have a problem with. If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. It's not obnoxious or anything like that, but they're definitely going to have to work together. I mean, this is Hoshina's first time coming to the Araki, maritime base in 3 years, so it's not something that they do often. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Subscribe if you're brand new, and like always, until next time, I'm out.